Here at 4:30. Good to be with you. I'm Simone Woolridge, live at the Retzer Nature Center in Waukesha to discuss some of the new historic images released by NASA's new telescope, the Webb.
Yeah, a lot of cool things going on there. I'm Charles Benson, but before we share you some of the pictures giving us a better understanding of what's inside of our universe, we do want to get to some of the headlines today, including in Dousman, a bus driver is facing criminal charges after prosecutors say he inappropriately touched young girls and showed them pornographic videos. The suspect, 39-year-old Matthew Gribben, has since been fired from his job as a bus driver. Court documents include alarming details of Gribben allegedly touching students and also showing other students explicit content spanning from 2019 to the 2022 school year. An 8-year-old victim of the Highland Park parade shooting is now in critical condition, set to undergo his 7th surgery. Among a list of other injuries, Cooper Roberts was shot and suffered a severed spinal cord. A family spokesperson says one of his lungs is partially collapsed. The surgery will try to repair his torn esophagus. His family says they appreciate all the prayers for his recovery. And we'll be covering all of these stories and more on the news at 5. Now to Washington it is, where the January 6th committee held hearings today. Number 7 today focused on far-right groups that led to the attack on the Capitol. NBC's Susan McGinnis has a full wrap-up from Capitol Hill.
The January 6th committee today focused on Donald Trump's desperate effort to hold on to power after losing the election.
You have to show strength and you have to be strong.
The committee highlighting a mid-December meeting convened by Trump with attorney Rudy Giuliani and others.
The meeting has been called unhinged, not normal, and the craziest meeting of the Trump presidency.
At that meeting, strategies for Trump to remain in office were discussed, including having the military seize voting machines, an idea rejected by Attorney General Bill Barr.
I said, absolutely not. There's no probable cause, and I'm not going to seize any machines.
Failing at solutions, Trump in the overnight hours sends his infamous December 19th tweet calling on supporters to come to D.C. January 6th, the day Biden's win was to be certified, tweeting, "Will be wild."
The time for action is now.
His supporters heeding that call. And on that day, Trump, knowing groups including the Proud Boys and Oath Keepers came heavily armed, ordered metal detectors removed and directed them to the Capitol.
You'll never take back our country with weakness.
The committee seeking to establish possible early coordination between the groups and Donald Trump and his allies. Also today, videotaped testimony from Trump White House counsel Pat Cipollone.
Did I believe he should concede the election at a point in time? Yes, I did.
The committee making the case the president knew he lost, but convinced millions of Americans he won.
They put their faith and their trust in Donald Trump. They wanted to believe in him. They wanted to fight for their country, and he deceived them.
The committee looking to connect the dots between a president determined to overturn an election, engaging in a scheme to achieve it that culminated in a violent mob attacking America's democracy. Susan McGinnis, NBC News, Washington.
All right, Susan, thanks. There are still more hearings to come. The committee says next week it will cover the 3 hours, that is, during which Trump refused to stop the violence. In other news now, we want to get back out to my co-anchor, Simone Woolridge, who's live at the Retzer Nature Center. That's in Waukesha with some of these stunning images released by NASA's James Webb Space Telescope. And we've just been watching these all day, and they're nothing short of spectacular.
That's right, Charles. The images we are seeing are truly spectacular, bringing us a first-hand look at the capabilities that this telescope really has. And it's not even only benefiting us here in Wisconsin or even just our country of America, but it's giving everyone in the world a better understanding of our universe. So I want to kind of just talk about that telescope here for a moment. As Charles mentioned, it's named the James Webb Space Telescope. And after James Webb, who led NASA during the 1960s, when the country was working to get people on the moon. The telescope is the most powerful telescope to ever take flight, bringing us just never before seen details in space. And we are seeing these images for the very first time since it launched in 2021. And that's because it was preparing its instruments for science for roughly 6 months. The cost of the telescope, Well, it's very expensive, nearly $10 billion. And even more interesting information here, Charles, the telescope is expected to operate in space for at least 20 years.
Yeah, but they've been multi-billion views, right? They've just been spectacular, these images that we have been seeing and that have been unveiled today. They really are incredible. So let's take a look at this picture. This is the cosmic cliffs and a sea of stars within the Carina Nebula. And you can see where the ultraviolet radiation and stellar winds come together to shape colossal walls of dust and gas.
Yeah, I talked to someone about that today. The pictures show in vivid detail light that has traveled billions of years to reach Earth. This photo is of Stephan's Quinets, which is a grouping of 5 galaxies, I should say, now shown in new detail here. Scientists will study this photo to learn more about how galaxies interact with each other.
And finally, Webb's powerful infrared eyes bring a second dying star into full view for the first time. From birth to death as a planetary nebula, Webb can explore the expelling shells of dust and gas of aging stars that may one day become a new star or planet.
Well, Charles, the planetarium where I'm standing in now in Waukesha has really been booming with visitors hoping to see the new James Webb images released today and also learn and feel what it's like to be in space.
Taping, cutting, crafting. All big hits at the planetarium in Waukesha Tuesday.
Does it look like it's through it?
I think so.
Right?
Yeah, it looks like you're supposed to cut a little hole.
Something for all of us, including myself, to enjoy.
My mom just said that that we were going somewhere. I don't know because they just said it.
They just made you come, huh?
Whether it was by choice or surprise, kids and their families were eager to see newly released NASA photos from the James Webb telescope, showing detailed views of newly born stars and galaxies.
We've been following the James Webb telescope, and so it was really nice to see those initial images come through, and oh, how exciting it is.
And boy, was it a first for all of us.
Everything you see in there outside of stars is a galaxy that we had no idea was out there.
Outside of the Webb views, crafts, snacks, and fun facts, families walked into the planetarium dome to feel space.
You are in space.
The oohs and ahs truly solidified Tuesday's emotions.
It's so interesting and it's so much unexplored, and I'd love to explore it.
It makes you feel like you're right in front of the action, that you're actually seeing the rockets as they launch.
3, 2, 1, blast off.
One thing I might want to be an astronomist.
I think it's kind of cool. If you like space, definitely come here.
So if you're at home thinking,
people are kind of wondering, why is this such a big deal?
This 30-year amateur astronomer has an answer to your question. She says it lies in the future of space exploration. The more we explore now, the more we learn how to take care of Earth.
Makes you say, I want to do that. I want to be there. And I think it's it's like almost a once-in-a-lifetime experience. It's just something you have to do.
It is definitely something you have to do and see. Let's check in now with Storm Team. Well, I want to check in with Simone. I mean, it's just so inspiring to see those children, because you got to know this is inspiring them for maybe a future career and future space travel.
Yeah, that's right, Charles, because a lot of the kids who I met today, some of them had an interest, I should say, in science, but many of them were also just taken here by their parents. So this is kind of like a first look, maybe just an introduction to them for space, and maybe just kind of getting them interested. Some of them may be interested in math, which we know when we talk about STEM.
Sure.
So a lot of the kids came out today just all very curious,
yeah.
and they learned a lot from being here today.
So let's check in with Kristen too. I mean, is this inspiring you to have more space travel or to go into space?
I don't know how well I would fare in space. I get seasick pretty easily, so that might not be a good fit for me. But But I love science, and I'm so excited to learn more about all of those images. And James Webb will keep discovering, keep taking pictures. We're going to learn so much from that. Very cool. We're chilling on the hill. We're here. Things haven't gotten started just yet, but the food vendors are going to be ready at 5 o'clock out here. The weather pretty nice as we check in on our sunrise and sunset times. Our sunset tonight, 8:30. It'll be at 8:30 again tomorrow night. And then after that, our sunsets will be before 8:30. Days are still nice and long, but they are getting a little bit shorter. Your evening planner here. We've got some fair weather clouds out there now, but as we head into this evening, we do have the chance to see a couple of widely scattered showers and a few thunder showers as well. All right, the July full moon. You can check it out tonight or tomorrow night. It's technically full tomorrow afternoon, but you're not going to be able to see it in the afternoon. So tonight or tomorrow night. The full buck moon. It's also going to be a super moon. All right, we'll talk more about that chance for showers and a few thunder showers coming up in a couple of minutes. We'll be right back.
Shootings in downtown Milwaukee after the Bucks-Celtics game.
Governor Evers permitted early release for violent criminals.
The county on pace for 306 homicides this year.
Evers' crime